Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of Daily Stock, we are going to look at the market mover, which is the Google uh, search engine, which is commonly used, widely used, and most of us are the users of its products. We use the products offered by the alphabet for day-to-day purpose. We use Google search engine. We also use YouTube and various other platforms. And now we have new additions to the products offered by the Google, and these where the revenue growth is coming from, and we are seeing this surge in the Google share price. In today's session, it is more than 7 percentage point up at the moment, and this upsurge in the price is being driven by the surge in the revenues, and we will see how we can take advantage of this revenue growth and the forward guidance to consider the possibilities and the accompanying opportunities to profit in this volatile market. So let's consider the fundamentals which are driving these uptake in the Google prices, Google share prices, and also what to make of it, and what are the possible ways where we can ride this wave. And for that, all we need to do is find the ways to profit from this momentum. If we have to look at the fundamentals, there is no better way than to look at statements, including the profit and loss statement, the cash flow, and the balance sheet. We will be more concerned with the revenue segment classification, and from which segment this uptake in the revenue is coming in, and how to play. So let's consider the in the Google share price today. If you look at the EPS, it has jumped from 7 percentage point, and quite a coincidence that right now the share price is also up 7 percentage point. And we will consider on the segmental basis where this growth is coming from, and what are the implications of Google. There is the growth in the net profit apart from the revenue growth. We are also looking at some cost cutting measures. There was a layoff of the large number of employees, and as a result of that, the immediate effect was not that pronounced because the severance pay and other related liabilities have also been included. But moving forward, we are likely to see a leaner, meaner Google workforce, and of course, for future trajectory that bodes well. Now, let's consider the segmental revenues. So, here, if we look at these operating, the revenues at US dollar 23,454, which is up quite significantly compared to the operating income from the Google services for the second quarter of 2022. The Google Cloud has turned positive from the negative, and that is its story, because the Google Cloud is a segment which is crowded. We have other players, significant players like Microsoft, Amazon, which have a lead on the Google in this business. But now the Google is also seems to be establishing itself as a player to look at, as a major player, and we have finally some numbers to back it up. We can consider the Google as also a player in this cloud computing segment. Other bets are some risky bets which the Google takes to look. tech sector, and as of now, it is not contributing significantly. But this is more of an you can say R&D projects. So we will not dwell too much on that. Let's go into the details of these revenues. This is the segment result. So here we have this growth in revenues overall, and if we consider these Google services, they have contributed significantly higher for the second quarter of this year in comparison to the second quarter of 2022. The other bets have also contributed higher. Google Cloud is the story of the day. This revenue growth of around 30 percentage point is quite phenomenal to say the least, because we don't really see this kind of growth in other business segments. But as we talked about in yesterday's session also, the cloud computing segment has been a major driver for these tech companies, and Google is also catching up in this segment. The cloud computing has a large utility, large user base, and as the AI, generative AI applications, technologies are going to be widely used, we will see more and more demand for these cloud computing segment, and the revenue growth is going to be strong. So Google is also benefiting from these AI rush. You can say it's kind of a new gold rush these days, because everyone in the world, in the market, whether it is financial or other markets, everyone is interested and talking about AI. And here we have a company which is going to profit from these frenzy, you can say even frenzy, AI frenzy. So we have these results where that effect is showing up with the revenues of Google Cloud segment going up 30% in terms of year on year. So this is the story of this quarter, and apart from that, other workhorses of the Google, the revenues coming in from ads and other applications and products like Chrome, hardware, Google Maps, Google Play, Search, YouTube, etc. still remains strong. So the Google is also showing that the revenue growth from other segment is still there, and there is not much of a reason to worry. And on back of that, there is this revenue growth, strong revenue growth in new segments like Google Cloud. So the future also looks bright, and that is why the investors are quite happy looking at these results, and that is showing up in the valuations of company and the way share is reacting at the moment to these earnings from the Alphabet, the parent company of the Google. Now let's move to the JForex platform, where we will consider the technicals, how to profit from these uptick, upsurge in the prices of the Google, and what are the levels to watch out for if we have to go for a buy trade in the Google. What are the levels where we can feel confident enough to profit, because as there has been this significant uptick at the current levels, I don't really think that the risk reward ratio is favorable enough. We have this gap up open in today's session. Suppose, for example, if you had taken the bet in yesterday's session with the possibility of Google results being announced, surprising on the upside, you might have profited quite phenomenally in today's session. But right now, if you go for a new trade, then the risk reward ratio doesn't really look promising enough. Rather than that, I would say that watch out for this immediate deep, the low made on Monday. That is the key level to watch out for going forward. If we see that the Google is able to hold around these levels for next couple of sessions, and even if there is some slight correction, maybe somewhere around 125 or near about that, we will have risk reward ratio which will be looking lot more favorable, and with that kind of risk reward ratio we can go for a new trade. We can go for the opportunity of buying the Google shares and expecting these current momentum which is positive, which is bullish, to deliver the profit for us. Let us look at the larger picture, the daily chart of where the things stand in terms of the medium term to longer term perspective. From the short term perspective, of course, we have this formation of higher highs and higher lows, and as long as the recent low is not really broken, we will have the reasons to believe in the continuity of these upward momentum. And if we have the longer term momentum, longer term trajectory also matching these recent price upsurge, then we will have more reasons to believe in this growth story and go for the positioning which can deliver profit for us in this scenario. Let's give it few more seconds for this chart, the daily chart to load. It is taking some time. Right now, the Google is trading at around 129 USD per share. To be precise, it is at 129.27, and that is little less than 6 percentage point up from the yesterday's close, with the possibility of it closing higher, remaining quite strong for the day. In 1 hour's time, we will also be getting the Fed's monetary policy announcement. Anything can happen. There can be sharp moves on either side. And that is the reason why I feel that we should always consider the risk reward ratio and go for the trade where we have the momentum on our side, where we have the possibility of losing money on the lower side, as well as the magnitude of those losses should be quite small compared to the kind of profit which we can make. And for that we have to look at the technicals along with the fundamentals, because as we saw, the fundamentals are quite favorable for a buy trade, but then we do have to look at the technicals to figure out the optimum levels to go for a new trade. And for that we are waiting for this chart to load, but it is taking time and time, frustrating me as well as you. So let us now revert back to the hourly chart and try to compress it. And as I said in my introductory remarks, while looking at this chart, we have to consider this immediate swing low, the low of this week, to be a crucial level. And as long as the Google price remains above that, I see no reason for it to reverse. Uh, by that I mean we have the reasons to believe in this positive momentum, and there is not going to be any immediate reason for the Google to change course and go in negative territory. So this is the buffer zone, this is the price level where we can put a marker, and as long as the price remains above that, we have the reasons to feel confident going for the buying in Google share. Let us compress and see how things stand. And if we look at the growth trajectory for the Google from the start of the year, if we simply look at the year-to-date performance for the Google, it is around 35 percentage point up, and it was consolidating in this range for last 2 months. Finally, we have the break on the higher side, and it is now more than happy to take the discussion forward. Do share your valuable feedback in the comment section, and also the suggestions for any topic to be covered in coming days. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.